What's up, guys? I'm the founder of Cloud Campaign, Ryan Bourne, and doing a live AMA over at AMA Feed right now. There's a link in the caption, the bit.ly link. Click on that if you want to head over there and look at questions that people are already asking or ask your own. You can also feel free to ask a question in the comment section right here. But what I'm going to do is kind of just go through, do this live, and just answer questions that people have. Maybe you have the same question about Cloud Campaign or about how it came to be, or how I got into it. So hopefully I'll answer some of your questions here. If not, add your own questions in the comment section right below. So Katie Ricotta, like the cheese, asks, did you work on Cloud Campaign on your own, or did you have a team to work with you? It's a great question. So there have been two of us working on it so far. I originally started it and came up with the idea back in April, launched it actually in June. And so I've been handling kind of product development, the day-to-day works like marketing and sales and the business side of it. And then Ricky Cox has been helping with the UX and design and kind of mapping out the direction that we've taken the product. Bukika Stajanov, I probably mispronounced that. It's Stojanovic. Bukika Stajanovic. You have some huge competitors here. Why did you pick that field? Also a great question. Yeah, it's true. The marketing space is very crowded, and especially social media. There are a lot of different competitors out there. I don't know if you can see, but on the whiteboard back there somewhere, a lot of competitors are mapped out, and kind of the competitive landscape for social media marketing. But the thing is, it's a largely fragmented space. If you look at any of the competitors, if you Google them, typically the first thing you'll see is their product page. The second thing you'll see is product alternatives. People are always looking for other alternatives that are out there. And so people are pretty dissatisfied with the current solutions. The other thing is, it seems like no one's really trying to fit this gap that is small to medium-sized agencies. There's a lot of big enterprise tools such as Sprinkler that are focused on big enterprise customers or large agencies. And then there's the consumer-facing tools that most people are probably familiar with, which are like Buffer, Edgar, Hootsuite. And these ones, are more focused on helping consumers and individuals market on social media. And so there's this gap that I think needs to be filled, and that's for these small to medium-sized agencies. And that's really our target audience. And we approach that and really target those people by adding features that appeal to them, such as the ability to manage unlimited number of brands at scale. It's as simple as clicking the drop down and then changing which account you're managing, so you can manage multiple brands. You can export your analytics. You can share public analytics links, so you can share your analytics with your clients, along with a ton of other things. And so that's just like one of the areas that we're focusing on that I think a lot of competitors haven't put a ton of effort into yet. Edith Piedmont asks, what are some of the best success stories of Cloud Campaign for those who have already tried using it? So there's some funny ones. There's some good ones too. Social Espresso, which is a marketing agency, they analyze a bunch of different tools, and they wrote a blog post titled, I think it was social media, let's see what it was titled Under the Radar Social Media Tools. And what they wrote about us is, once you discover the power of Cloud Campaign, you wonder how you ever managed your social outreach without it. One of our individual customers said, dude, your platform is the best thing out. Hootsuite sucks. Which I thought was funny. And I guess a good testament to our software. One of our agency customers said, I've tried nearly every social media tool out there, and I'm happy to say that Cloud Campaign is exactly what I need. Also great to hear. Murphy Cat asked, do you plan on creating more software in the future? What types of software are you most interested in? I'm sure I will. It's ultimately what I'm most interested in. I love creating software. I love just kind of the ability to create something from scratch. But right now, my sole focus is Cloud Campaign, and I don't really foresee myself working on any other software in the future. My favorite type of software to work on, or what I'm most interested in, I like to solve the tough problem. It's a pretty cool feeling if you're able to create something, you release a product or a new feature, and you get the feedback that someone said they didn't know that was even possible. It's pretty cool to hear that kind of feedback. So that's what I'm most interested in. Yena, yes, does a job in software development get boring? How do you make it interesting in between creating codes? It's definitely not for everyone. I would say that I don't get bored by it because I honestly thoroughly enjoy it, but some people probably do. I think the most interesting thing is you're solving a different problem every day, even though you might be working with either the same code base or the same language or whatnot. It's still a new problem, and so there's different ways to approach it, and that part of it is what's fun to me. Arux asks, what's the story behind the name of the software cloud campaign? It's a really boring story, to be honest. I tried other names that I was interested in, but the domains were already taken. So I kind of just ran down the list of different ideas I had, in Cloud Campaign.io was one of the first ones that was available. So I ran with it. It's not super interesting or exciting. It's kind of fitting though, kind of running your marketing campaign in the cloud. So it's a fitting name. Yeah, nothing interesting there. Can Cloud Campaign help increase social media following? Obviously, the answer is going to be yes. That's kind of the whole point of software. But if you look at, we have public analytics listed on our website. And so if you look at our own analytics over the past 60 days, since we've been using our own software, we've, we're really just bootstrapping our own social following from zero without much ad spend. And so we went from, I think, around 50 Facebook followers to now around 350 within 60 days, which is pretty cool. And that's just really using our own software. And so if you're interested, you can go to cloudcampaign.io/analytics. And there you'll have analytics for a bunch of public accounts. And then you can also see our account if you go to cloudcampaign.io/demo/startup. Will Cloud Campaign also be helpful to individual entrepreneurs and startup businesses? Asked by Kamagne. I think that's kind of already answered in the previous question. So yes, it is helpful. We have actually a majority of our customers right now are individuals or small business owners. We're making the move more towards agencies, but it is definitely still relevant and useful for individuals and small companies. William Koch asks, can anyone use Cloud Campaign for their business, or do they have to be a social media expert to use it properly? It's a good question. So yeah, anyone can use it. We kind of have different feature sets depending on how experienced of a marketer you are. The basic feature set is supposed to be very straightforward and simple and easy to use. So if you're just interested in scheduling or viewing your analytics or tracking your activity feed, all of that's very, very simple to do. And you can have it all set up and figure it out within, less than 20 minutes. If you're interested in some of the more advanced stuff, such as triggering based off of the weather or trends or like website data, that it might not be as intuitive for everyone. So it might take a little bit longer for some non-technical people to figure out, but you can always ask us questions. Always happy to jump on a video call as well to explain things if you get stuck along the way. Kamagna, same person, asks, what are the benefits of social media marketing for small businesses? How big does one have to get before you have to get professional help for that? It's really going to vary depending on what your goals are and how technical, I guess, like how savvy you are in terms of marketing and social media in general. As a general rule of thumb, I would say try to do it on your own at first. If you get to the point where you're stuck, either you're not able to create engaging content, or maybe you're having trouble just really engaging with your audience, then I would say look to an agency for that. You can always have a hybrid approach too. So there are a lot of freelancers on like Fiverr.com or Guru.com where you can hire a freelancer that will actually help create the content for you. You can kind of give them guidelines if you want certain graphics, or if you want blog posts written, even they can write blog posts for you for content marketing. So you can do that where you have someone that you hired and you pay them kind of just part-time or one-time fees. They create the content for you, and then you go ahead and share that content to social media on your own. And using a tool like Cloud Campaign, it's very simple and easy to get all set up and going. So I'd recommend trying it on your own first. If you get stuck, there are a ton of great agencies out there that can help you really grow your following and start getting more customers on social media. They've done it before. A lot of them are really experienced in it. They're up to date with all the new algorithm changes on social media and what's going on each platform and what works best. So that's always an option. We also have, on our website, we have a list of partners that we work with. So if you're not sure which agency to go to, check out cloudcampaign.io/partners. And there we have a list of all the agency partners that we work with, that we partner directly with, companies that we've vetted personally. And so I'd go reach out to one of them and figure out how you can best implement what strategy you're trying to work on if you're not sure. RGL asks, what would you say are the 3 main advantages of Cloud Campaign? It really depends, again, on like what it is that you're trying to achieve, because there are a lot of different features that Cloud Campaign does offer. But I'd say in general, the 3 things are ease of use. So from the start, we want to make it very, very simple to get set up and get it going, and make it as easy to use as possible. And one of the things that we've done there is, like, if you have a Shopify store, a YouTube channel, a blog, somewhere where you write your articles, you can automatically import that into Cloud Campaign using the RSS feed. And what's cool is you can use the auto importer. So every single time you add new content, whether that's a video, a Shopify product, or a blog post, it will automatically pull it into your Cloud Campaign content library. And then from there, you can schedule it or share it directly to social media. So I think that's something that's pretty cool. It makes it super easy to use. Number 2 would be flexibility in posting. So we have the very basic posting, as I already discussed, such as scheduling or broadcasting immediately. But what you can also do is post dynamically based off of the trends or weather. You can also set up a drip schedule. So the way that works is you post the same content maybe the day of or a day later, and then you can post it again a week later, and then again a month later. And so it's a really cool way to intelligently recycle your top performing content that people respond well to. And you can increase engagement and reach for that content item, because typically organic content is only ever seen by about 5% of your business page's followers. And so if you're spending a lot of time or money to create this great content, it's sort of a waste if only 5% of your followers are seeing it. So what you can do then is actually recycle it at increasingly longer intervals. So then, resharing that same content item to social media, and that can increase your engagement closer to maybe 10 or 12%, which is a great increase from 5%. And then the third thing is that it grows with you. So pricing starts at currently $5. So whether you're just managing like your own Twitter account, your own Facebook account, or you're managing 100 brands, Cloud Campaign really grows with you, and it's built to help you handle multiple accounts at scale and really grow as you grow. Let's see what else we got here. Janelle asked, what's the most challenging experience you've had while developing Cloud Campaign? So I think the biggest thing is working with third-party services is always hard, because there are certain constraints around it. And it's difficult when you don't have complete control over something. So obviously, since we're a platform on top of social media, we work directly with Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And the difficulty is, one, like each one has its own idiosyncrasy, which is fine, but the platforms really have control over what you can do. And so you have to go through an approval process, but they also limit the number of requests you can make and how much data you can pull each day and that kind of stuff. And so a big issue initially was we were hitting the upper limits of the API because we were pulling a ton of data to do deep analytics. And so since then, we've had to find other ways to handle that. So we pull the data a little bit less, we add more caching layers in between. So that way we're holding on to the data in our own memory rather than going back to the provider each time we need that data. So that's one thing. The trigger service that we have set up, so like the ability to trigger based off of weather and trends, was a pretty cool technical problem. I wouldn't say, yeah, I'd say it was a good challenging experience. It's something that where there's a lot of data being passed through the network, you kind of have to build it in a way that is scalable and forward thinking. And so the way we do it is we have a trigger service that is actually pulling out all this data from outside sources, and then it writes it to a message bus. And so it's a JMS bus, and it sends that data across the bus, and then it's picked up by a notification service, so another microservice. And the notification service then takes a look at everyone's accounts and says, does anyone have a trigger set up for this data, and are the thresholds met? If so, then the notification service then sends it off to the social media providers. So that was a pretty cool and pretty fun service to go ahead and build, and a good technical challenge. Tim Mark asks, do you believe social media remains the most powerful online marketing platform? It heavily depends on your product, your target audience, and your goals. Yeah, it's tough to say. Like, it depends on how big your company is, how much marketing spend you have, and like what you're ultimately trying to achieve. Social media is great for B2C companies where you have an actual product that you're trying to sell. Specifically, Instagram performs really well for that. I think the best thing about it is the granularity and targeting. If you're running ads on Facebook or Instagram, you can be very, very specific in the audience that you're targeting. You can get right in front of the right people that you want to be in front of for pretty cheap. So it's hard to beat in that sense. If you're comparing it to like a billboard, for example, a billboard is obviously seen by anyone who walks past it or drives past it, versus like Facebook ads, you can say, put it in front of people who like yo-yos who went to TGI Fridays in the past month, right? So like it's very specific. And